Hey guys, it is Julie here with JT Wealth. In today's video, we are covering an exciting new announcement of a SPAC merger with an electric air taxi company. And we have a lot of great information to cover, so let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back and thank you so much for being here. Like I said, today we are discussing an exciting new SPAC merger that was just confirmed this morning between Archer Aviation and Atlas Crest Investment Corp. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the details of that reverse merger and what Archer plans on using the investment funds for, plus a deeper look at exactly what Archer Aviation does. And just before we get into all of that great info, this is just your friendly reminder that if you enjoy today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to check out some of the great links in our description, which includes a link to Webull, who right now is giving away 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850 for opening up and funding a new investment account. So make sure to check them out. Okay, now let's get right into this SPAC merger, starting off with the ticker that Atlas Crest is currently trading under, which is ACIC. And you can see from the news of this merger, the stock has shot up considerably and is currently at $14.50 per share, which is up nearly 30% today. So of course, anytime a stock has shot up from exciting news, make sure you take a second to pause and understand your entry point, whether you're willing to jump right in or if you want to wait a bit and see if it cools off. Always have a plan with your entry and exit points for any investment. Now, Atlas Crest's mission was to partner with a disruptive, world-class company undergoing transformational growth, and they believe that urban air mobility, or UAM, will transform how people approach everyday life, work, and adventure, all while benefiting the environment. Now, Archer is the leader in UAM and beyond, and they have a highly accomplished team, and they are going to provide everyone with the flexibility to live farther, faster, safer, cheaper, and greener. Now, Atlas and Archer have entered into an LOI, or letter of intent, for this business combination, and if everything goes to plan, the merger is expected to close by the second quarter of 2021. Once the merger is completed, the ACIC ticker will transition to ACHR, and the transaction implies a pro forma enterprise value of approximately $2.7 billion. The transaction is expected to result in $1.1 billion of total proceeds raised to fund growth, comprised of $500 million of cash in trust and $600 million of PIPE proceeds. And part of those PIPE proceeds are coming from investors like United Airlines and Stellantis. The use of those proceeds, of course, will be focused on growth and scale. They'll be working on vertical integration of their core enabling tech, such as batteries and motors. And as far as their in-house component manufacturing, they're going to focus on value-add components and technology and development of next-generation manufacturing processes for future cost reduction and increased production volume. Now let's take a closer look at Archer's aircraft and their business plans. So they are developing and designing an electric vertical takeoff and landing, or eVTOL, aircraft for use in urban air mobility. They have $1 billion in orders from United Airlines and the option for additional $500 million of aircraft, and their strategic collaboration agreement with Stellantis, which is the 4th largest automotive manufacturer in the world by volume, comes with expertise in high volume composites. Their vision is to improve mobility and drive the world towards a zero emissions future. Now, this whole urban air mobility, or air taxis, is said to be a huge potential market in the future, and is said to have an addressable market over $1.5 trillion, even up to $3 trillion. And the underlying secular drivers include unprecedented traffic congestion, improvements in electric power systems, and a growing need for a zero emissions future. Now, as I briefly mentioned before, they do have partnerships in place with both United Airlines and Stellantis. And United is a key equity holder and strategic partner, and their order with $1 billion represents the largest eVTOL purchase in history. But the other benefits from United is that they're going to help them around FAA certification, airline flight connections, and pilot and maintenance crew training, and support for Archer's go-to-market strategy for city launches and airport connections. On the Stellantis side, they're going to benefit from the OEM global footprint and economies of scale, and their partnership is focused on high-volume composite manufacturing and access to low-cost automotive-grade supply chain. Archer's flagship aircraft is called the Maker. It can travel 60 miles at 150 miles per hour, has 0 emissions, and at 45 decibels is 100 times quieter than a helicopter. Archer is going to be focused on the aerial ride-sharing business, so think of the Uber of the sky. Their early launch markets will focus on highly congested cities such as Los Angeles, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Orlando, and the first phase of UAM go-to-market is expected to rely on existing and retrofitted infrastructure. As it scales, they expect to work with aligned development partners to build high-throughput vertiports that can accommodate hundreds of takeoffs and landings per hour. One big area of need that Archer is looking to address is transporting people to traditional airports, as right now if you're in a big city, that can be a real pain. So they highlight the different alternatives, where if you were to take your own personal vehicle, an UberX or Uber Pool, from Manhattan to the JFK airport, it's going to take you about 60 to 77 minutes. Of course, you could cut that down to 22 minutes by taking a helicopter, but the average cost per passenger would be over $1,700. So there comes in Archer, where they're averaging a cost of about $50 per passenger to get to Manhattan to JFK in about 22 minutes. And they estimate that eVTOL can generate 18 times more revenue than a ride-sharing car, and that for just one of their aircrafts, the revenue per year could be about $2.4 million. From that $2.4 million in revenue, they estimate direct and indirect operating costs of $1.4 million for a total operating income of $1.1 million. And they say that their direct operating costs will decline over time through scale manufacturing, battery energy density improvements, and autonomy. So where exactly are we at in Archer's expected timeline for manufacturing and getting these in the air? Right now, they are demonstrating Maker's ability to be the highest performance and safest eVTOL, and are working to receive type certification from the FAA for Archer's conforming aircraft by 2024. In 2024 to 2027, they're looking at their mass manufacturing ramp, and are gearing up for full-scale autonomy certification and operations, and to get to free cash flow break-even in Q4 of 2025. From 2027 to 2030, we're looking at globally scaled operations, and they're going to help drive the world to a zero-emissions future. And yes, I did mention autonomy in there, as they expect in the future that autonomous aircrafts will allow Archer to realize higher scale and growth. No pilot or operator frees up payload and space for an additional passenger, and means reduced operating costs. So by 2027, they're expecting to begin directly supervised operations of their aircraft with an autonomy suite, and by 2028, they'll do remotely supervised once they have FAA authorization to operate without an onboard pilot. Personally, I think it is pretty wild to consider that in just 7 years, we could be hopping into driverless electric aircrafts to pop us over to the airport in 20 minutes, but I guess we are headed straight into the future. Now, Archer is opening up a manufacturing facility in 2020 and is hoping to manufacture between 200 to 1,000 aircrafts per year. And by 2026, they plan to get into high volume manufacturing, making over 5,000 aircrafts per year. And their agreement with Stellantis is going to focus on exploring materials and processes for that high volume composite manufacturing. So we are still in the early stages of their Archer business plan here, and a few years away from real mass production and that break-even goal in 2025. But it sounds like a very exciting business, and one that people seem to think has a ton of potential in it. So that is everything I know about this SPAC deal with Archer as of right now. And of course, I always love hearing from you guys, so make sure to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Is this one that you'll be jumping into? What do you think of this whole urban air mobility and where it's going to go in the future? Keep in mind that these videos are never a suggestion to buy or sell any specific stock, and are just meant for information and entertainment purposes. Any investment decision needs to be made based on your own research and due diligence. If you guys made it all the way to the end of today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and that you're subscribed to the channel as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and cheers.